Welcome back to the Integrated Mind podcast, where we integrate your mind, body, and soul. I'm Nicole, your integrative nurse practitioner.
And I'm Belle Valladares Gottlieb, your integrated psychotherapist.
And today we're going to be talking about the impact that electronics and screen time have on our mental and physical health. So come along. So I think it's really important that we talk about the impact that electronics and screen time has on our mental and physical health, because I think today more than ever, we are consuming so much digitally, electronically, fluorescent lights. Like there's so much exposure that we have on a daily basis.
Notifications.
Yeah.
Everything has a notification.
You know, it's affecting our mental, physical health. It's also affecting our circadian rhythms. And I thought it was a great topic that we talk about today. So I guess we can get right in. One of the things I would really say is that I don't think people realize how many hours a day people are exposed to artificial light, electronics.
I mean, I would say not only the electronic parts, but for those of you that have kids, at least my kids, they all wanted these little lights, these LED lights that go on the roof of the room, not the roof, but this, you know what I'm talking about, of the room, which is artificial light, and it goes through the whole night. So going back to what you were saying, how it affects our circadian rhythm. And for those that don't know, the circadian rhythm plays a significant role in your sleep patterns and your overall mental health. Obviously, if your sleep pattern is affected, then everything else kind of goes right afterwards, right?
Yeah. So like to bring it back, let's say 100, 200 years ago, before we even had electronic devices, any artificial light, our ancestors woke up with the sun and went to sleep with
sunset.
That was the light that woke us up, and that was the light that winded us down at night. So that created our own internal circadian rhythm. Our serotonin was boosted, our melatonin was produced, and really helped us to find a more balanced daily life. Today, with the influence of blue light, artificial light, it's messing with that circadian rhythm.
Because it's telling you like, no, you're actually pushing, you're ignoring your natural aspect, right? And you're listening to things that are unnatural by continuously connecting to them.
Right. So when people wake up in the morning and the first thing that they do is grab their phone, that's blue light straight to their eyes, and they're missing that opportunity to go outside and get natural sunlight to set that circadian rhythm, to be able to calm the nervous system, to be able to set your body up to have a restful sleep at night. So they're blocking that.
It affects so much. And this is a really good point that you just mentioned, because a lot of my clients that come in with anxiety, the first thing I ask them is, how do you wake up and how do you go to sleep? And obviously, our cell phones have alarms. So our cell phones are everything, right? There are cameras, there are connection source, either directly through messages or phones.
Like people sleep with them right next to their head.
They charge them right next to, they use the alarm. So it's like an all-for-one device.
Yeah.
So the first thing that a lot of my clients do, and I've been guilty of it, I'm not perfect, is it's right next to you, your alarm goes off, you turn it off, but oh my God, what do you see? Instagram. Facebook, or a text. And the first thing they do is expose themselves not only to the light, but also activating your nervous system in an unnatural way. So obviously we wake up because of cortisol, right? Your body produces that that's how it makes you wake up. But when you're adding things from the media, whether it's the news, whether it's social media, whether it's a text,
work threads.
You're already, what if you see something that's not something that you would have liked.
You're
to see.
overstimulating yourself, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah, so you're already programming your mind to be like rushed and pumped and unnaturally, right?
Instead of like easing into the morning.
Exactly. Just ease into it. I mean, ideally, I always say like 45 to an hour, but I know that it's not practical for everyone, right?
Yeah.
People have kids, people have to wake up early, but waking up, even if it's 10 minutes, right? Okay, your alarm went off. Let's take it easy. Let's wake up slowly from the bed. Let's go brush our teeth. Let's go outside and feel the sun. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're giving your nervous system that time to rev itself up naturally.
Yeah. I mean, I would say one hack to this is, I put my phone on airplane mode at night. Not everybody can do this if they have young kids or, they have older parents and they might call them,
or physicians.
And if you can't put it that far away, at least put it on a countertop that's like not right next to your bed. And have a regular alarm clock, not your phone as your alarm clock. So it's not the first thing that you pick up. And that's like a small, minute hack that people can do, that if they don't need their phone, better to keep it outside the bedroom. And that also goes for the nighttime routine as well. Because if you have your phone right next to your bed at night, what are you doing right before you go to sleep? You're going to be scrolling on Instagram.
You don't even
or your
notice.
apps or, whatever you do. And then the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and your cellular signal is on right next to the head of your bed, with your phone right next to the head of your bed, and you're next to it all night. And, I just can't imagine that would be good for you. People were connected to these devices at all times. And I would say if you have to have your phone, just put it on the other side of the room, turn the Bluetooth off, turn the Wi-Fi off. Constant exposures to these aspects of the cell phone are not good for our cellular health and our hormones. And it's very important that people become aware of this, because they're just connected to it 24/7. And there's not enough data and research yet that has proved what this constant exposure, but I know firsthand the extended screen time that people are having just from the morning and at night affects the hormones, disrupts sleep, and can cause dysregulated nervous system.
I was going to say irritability.
So imagine that times the next 80 years of our lives. And it's every day.
The effects that it has on your relationships. I mean, they're
so disconnected.
When I go out to eat and I go to a restaurant, whether it's with our kids or with not our kids, if it's just date night, I see so many couples sitting on a table and on their phones. So they're there physically, but they're not connected. And
or you see that on vacation.
I see it on vacation. I've seen it breaks my heart I've seen this also. I remember going on vacation with our kids, actually just the little one. We went to Legoland, and there was this beautiful little boy and his dad. And they were sitting in the kitchen area, I guess we're having breakfast. And the little boy was wanting to speak to his father so badly. And the father just kept kind of like, here, because he was on his phone the whole time. So what is that little boy going to think? I'm not important. And when I need you, you're not going to be there for me. All because of a device. So it's really important to take a step back, right? And really try to understand how many devices you're on, whether it's TV, whether it's the phone,
the laptop.
Laptop. There's so many, it's not just social media, there's so many other stimulants and other electronics. We have beeps everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, our washer and dryer beeps, everything beeps. So all these notifications that we're inundated with, how they truly affect your life.
Yeah. And I would go even to go back to what we were talking about, the impacts of light in the morning and at night. When we expose ourselves.
I love how, by the way, I love how we're concentrated. Like you're the physical and I'm like all of like how it affects us mentally. And you go,
yeah. So when you expose yourself to the phone at night and the blue light is on, your body isn't able to naturally produce melatonin. And people say like, oh, I have such a hard time falling to sleep at night. And then we're like, well, are you scrolling on your phone? Are you answering emails like before you go to sleep? Yeah, like, but I still go to sleep at a good time. But it's what you do the 2 hours before bed, so there's a trick that I like to do, which is you can set the phone to do red light mode. Or you can wear red light glasses. So if I'm watching TV at night, like let's say after 8 p.m. when the sun goes down, I like wear my red light glasses. So my body's still able to produce my own natural melatonin while I'm exposed to blue screens. I really try not to watch them, like be on any screens after 9 p.m. But there's like a YouTube video that you can watch on how to turn your iPhone red. And it's like a triple click. Like, how you pay for your, like, if you're going to do Apple Pay, you do double click. It's like you can train it to do triple click and it turns red.
Oh, I did not know that.
And, so then I wear my red light glasses if I'm watching TV because I can't turn my TV red. But
because you're human, right?
Exactly.
Because we live practical lives.
Exactly. So like I try to make it easier, but I really try to make a conscious effort to not expose myself to those types of screens, like at least 1 or 2 hours before bed. I mean, it doesn't really happen all the time, but at least I'm not on my phone, but maybe I'm watching a show with my partner, or then I'll go and read a book, or, I'll just go to sleep. But I don't want screens to be the last thing I did before I went to sleep. And it just makes such an impact on the quality of sleep, how we wake up, not waking up in the middle of the night multiple times, like restless sleep.
I mean, I could relate to that. I used to watch a lot of like intense shows right before bed.
Yeah, I love those.
Oh my gosh. And I love them, right?
Yeah.
But I realized that when I would watch those, I would struggle to fall asleep or have like really good quality sleep. It somehow kind of still went into my dreams, the show that I was watching. It would pop up somewhere in my dreams. So I've eliminated a lot of that. So I watched, let's say if my husband and I are in bed and we wanted to watch a show, we'll watch a comedy show. Something that is light, something that is not intense. It could be a documentary. It could be Discovery Channel. Something that is not so emotionally charged, because that does affect me in my sleep.
Yeah. And I would say like going back to, the impact that our screens are having on our relationships are really, it's just so powerful that these devices have such control over us and make us so disconnected to each other. I would say from a relationship aspect, like you're saying with the son and his father, and just kids overall. Like kids are not playing anymore. They're just gaming. They're, doing games on their phone, doing video games. It's so much less interaction.
Well, even
people are like working virtually. They're not even like working so much together. They're not moving. They're just sitting in front of the.
I think the average American does about 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. That's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ideal to have 7,000 plus steps a day. But people say, I don't have time. And I get it, because their job entails them sitting down at a computer.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're so tired because of that. And kids and men, video games, that's their pastime. So what time do you really have to reflect and connect with your body and connect with yourself?
And I think also like when we talk about the emotions that play in why are we going on to social media? Why are we going on to play video games? Maybe doing work outside of our work hours? Like, why are we exposing ourselves to these screens? Like, is it to be distracted? Is it because we're addicted? Is it because we're avoiding something with our family life, or we're just trying to kill time?
Yeah.
We don't have the, I would say, the attention span or the patience anymore to just be. We're constantly like having to go on to something.
We have a new
waiting,
baseline.
like we're waiting for our food. Everybody whips out their phone at the restaurant.
Yeah, we have a new baseline. It is to be constantly stimulated.
And I think if we could go into, an option of like doing a digital detox, and that could look like 2 hours of the day. It could look like the moment that you get home, if you're not a physician and you're not on call, or, you don't need to talk to a family member, but like when you get home, could that be your time that you do digital detox? Could the morning, 1 hour in the morning, be your digital detox? Or could one day of the week be
I think
no
that's a
answering
really good
emails, no Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and, just completely, or no, just not using any screen time at all. No shows or anything like that. Or maybe you're doing something, but you're doing it with your family member or your significant other, when in terms of like watching a movie or watching a show, because it's like you're doing it with community.
Also, when you're multitasking, that for me is a huge trigger to my nervous system. So, and I think about what you just said, because I try to really eliminate my phone when I'm with my son, my little one. It's not always 100%, but I notice a drastic change in my own nervous system when I'm on the phone trying to have a conversation or text or answer an email, and my son is here requiring and wanting my attention. I want to be, on two places because I feel this is important, but I also don't want to say no. But I get so overwhelmed that...
Well, because he's probably like, mommy, 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 and you're trying to send the email.
And I'm just like, oh my God, stop. So again, I am realistic, and, I try this, but I'm not 100% proof, is I try to really be mindful. If I'm going to go pick up my son or whatever that I have scheduled with him, I try to not have my phone present.
That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
And I think I would love to say every day, once a week, try to have this digital detox. But I think we got to start small if we want to make these micro habits and changes in our lifestyle. And like you said, just those moments of awareness where you're like, okay, this is really not that important. Let me put this down. Let me be with my son. Or the tone that I set for the day is more important than me looking at my phone right when I wake up, and having that 30 minutes to 1 hour of just peaceful mindfulness that I can have that moment with myself. And so I think everybody needs to find what works for them, but the awareness of how much screen time people are being exposed to is key.
Absolutely. And to finish it off, and to finish this conversation off, I want to also, one thing that I have done that I've worked, and now that I'm talking about it, I'm remembering that I've done it, and I think is a really good tip, is obviously if you're a mom and you have kids, or not even a mom, a woman or a man that has a lot of responsibilities, that people will find it weird that you just dropped off the face of the earth. You're not answering your phone for, an hour or two.
What I'm doing that quick response.
Exactly. What I have done in the past is, hey, I'm going to not be on the phone from this time to this time. I remember I did a whole weekend detox once, and I said, don't worry about me. This is why I'm not going to answer my phone, blah, 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 because people get worried. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that when we don't answer right away, it's been an hour, you look at your phone and you have 15 text messages. No, and we had like 15 messages and 20 phone calls. And it's like, where are you? So being mindful enough to also let the people that are constantly in contact with you, letting them be aware that you're going to take some time off, or that you've adopted a new rule that after 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time works for you, you're going to be disconnected.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. But before we go, I want to mention something really quick. If you're struggling with disconnection from stimulus, from phones and electronics, or if you still feel completely dysregulated and irritable and overwhelmed, feel free to give us a call and schedule a free consultation with us.
And this was another episode on the Integrated Mind podcast. Can't wait to see you again.